Welcome back. This is the first of the bonus videos for the course, and so what I wanted to do is take you through some different key features and things that we can add to our website to make it a lot more, to boost its performance, make it a lot more secure, and also tap into some other stuff that's going to really help with your website. So the first thing that we want to do is security. I think security is actually really key and important to make sure that nobody hacks into your website, or we try to avoid any hacking as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a key element to this website, and it's called WordFence. That's personally my favorite. There are other systems out there that you could use, but that's the one that I'm going to show you to install on this one. And we'll set up some of the key things that we should probably make sure that we have. And I'll show you some examples that I've had of hacking attempts into my site and how this system has blocked that. Okay, so first let's go down to make sure you're logged into the back end of your website and go to the plugins here. And we're just going to load this up. Okay, and the thing that we want to do is we're going to add a new plugin. Okay, and we're going to search for WordFence. And as you can see, it came up automatically there because I've gone to WordFence before. And so this is it right here, this WordFence security. We can see it's got really high ratings. There's like over 1 million installs. It's very popular. The good thing about WordFence is if you're going to get heavy into this, you can also subscribe to their premium service, and that gives you a little bit more. But you know what they give for free is it's great, and it's just going to really help out quite a bit. Also, you can subscribe to their emails, and that gives you firsthand notice of what's going on in the security world, because things could be happening out there that you kind of want to be aware of and make sure that your site isn't vulnerable from that. And this one we have to make sure that we keep updated. So let's go ahead and find that. So it's down here. Now we can upgrade to premium if we wanted to, but we're not going to do that. So it's going to have added a new thing down here on the menu. And what we want to do is we're going to start at the dashboard, and we're going to make sure all of our settings are correct. Okay, and so here we are. It just kind of gives you some information here, as well as so it looks like it somehow did an immediate scan. I don't know exactly what we'll have to look into that, but we just wanted to take a look at that. And now we have to go to the options page. So we're going to do this first. We're going to go through all the options and make sure everything is good. So they've given you a free API key. It's already located in that, so that connects to their service automatically. Of course, they're going to have a lot of advertisements to go premium and give you some reasons for that. And so, like I said, if you wanted to, you could go this route, but I haven't personally yet gone that route. But if you are running a website for a company that security is ultimately premium, that you want to make sure that things are smooth from a security perspective, you might want to get that. So, but yeah. Okay, let's quickly go down this list, and we're going to be enabling stuff. So we want to make sure there's login security. Do you want to have a live traffic view that kind of shows you can see the live traffic that's coming in? And that's a good thing to be able to see if you've got lots of people hitting the website and what it kind of looks suspicious, and we can look at that later. Okay, and we're just going to go down. Some of these are premium features, so obviously we can't check the box there. Okay, regular scans, yep, we're going to leave that default. Now here's one quick thing, is where to send alerts to. So you want to make sure you put in an email address that you want to see WordFence alerts. And those are when something bad is happening to your website. So make sure you type in your email address, and once you've done that, just save the options. Okay, going down a little bit further, email me when WordFence is automatically In the next video, we're going to be talking about updating the system. And actually, we're going to be turning off automatic updates. We want to have some control over that. I can't tell you how many times I've missed that, and it's caused me some grief, because what'll happen is WordPress or WooCommerce or something like that will update, and then you have some other plugins that haven't updated or haven't even come out with a release of an update of their plugin, and it can break the website. So we want to avoid that from happening. And that's why we have some of our plugins that haven't been updated. What we want to do is we want to do that systematically and make sure we check our website, make sure it's not broken. If it breaks, we go back in and we deactivate that plugin. And that's kind of how we do that. So we'll talk about that in the next video. Okay, so here we go. When WordFence is deactivated, this is fine. Alert on critical problems, alert on warnings. Okay, alert me when an IP address is blocked. I'm going to uncheck that, because that could be a lot of noise. You're going to have some guy from Russia that really wants to get into your website. You don't want to be emailed every time, but you do want a summary of that. Alert me when somebody's locked out from a login. Don't care about that. Alert me when a lost password form is used for a valid user. I don't care about that. Alert me when someone with administrator access signs in. That includes yourself. Not worried about that. That might be something you do want to check if you do have a team that you have, say, on your site, and you kind of want to monitor when they're logging in, especially if they have administrative access. You could have that checked off. Okay, alert me when the administrator signs in from a new device. Don't worry about that. And we definitely don't want to check when other people sign in. That can just be really noisy in your email. Alert me when there's large increase in attacks detected on my site. I definitely would want that checked out. Maximum email alerts to send per hour. I would say max 1. Very rarely, anyways, are you gonna have. I've never had an attack where you have multiple people trying to break into my website at the same time, and one of those could be like what's called a denial of service attack, where it just basically takes down your web server. You won't even get alerts because your web server will be down in that case, and that's generally when many hackers are doing a very focused and targeted attack on your website. That just usually mostly happens to big companies that they want to kind of take down or inconvenience for a period of time. Okay, email summary. We want an email summary. Yes, let's do a once a week summary for sure. We'll leave that all default. Activity reports on widgets dashboard. We definitely want to have our widget dashboard, which I'll show you. Okay, and a live traffic view. Not going to worry about that. Don't log sign in user with publishing access. We'll just leave that checked off. Okay, scans to include IPs, configurations, public accessible. Yeah, we'll have all this default. All right, everything here is pretty much default. Okay, and that's for the scans. Okay, exclude from a scan with these wildcard patterns. I wouldn't worry about this too much. You can always hover over just to see, or I think you can just click on this to see what it says exactly about that. It's going to open a new window and they have some information here. So if you want to kind of get advanced, you can. Immediately block fake Google crawlers. That's probably a good one. All right. So verify Google crawlers have unlimited access to the site. That's good. Okay. You can also throttle access. So if anyone requests exceed one per minute or something like that, then you can throttle it or lower it. I wouldn't worry about that too much unless you see somebody's really hitting your website quite a bit and it's slowing it down. You can always throttle it, and you can read through this stuff. I don't really bother with this too much. I've never had too much of those problems. I'm sure that somebody has. That's why it's there. Okay, force admins and publishers to use strong passwords. Well, I would definitely recommend that. If they're an administrator, if somebody hacks into their account, they can come into your website and do a lot of damage. And so, of course, there's always a way to recover from that. And generally, with your hosting solution, you would have a backup. So you would just phone them or send a ticket to have them restore your website to before an issue had happened. And what they do is they just copy an older version of your website over. So like from 2 or 3 days prior. The only thing that happens to your website when you do that is if you've had any sales or anything that have happened between the time of your backup and the time of the issue, and you restore to the backup time. If you had any sales or anything between that time, you'll lose that information. Now, if you've been getting emails every time you get a sale, then you won't lose that information permanently. It just means that you'll have to work with those customers that had purchased between those times manually. So you'll have to probably just email them manually and work through the work orders manually through there. So that's how you would do that. Okay. Lockout after how many login failures? Well, I like to lock out after maybe 5, maybe or 7, because if somebody doesn't know their password, by the time they get to 7, there's a problem. So what you don't want is somebody constantly trying to log in, and what they do is called a brute force attack, meaning that they just try different iterations of passwords until they get the right one. This prevents that from happening. So to inconvenience somebody from hacking, it locks out the account for a certain number of times. So now we're going to lock out after how many forgot password attempts? Well, let's do maybe 3. Okay, and that's after a certain number of times. So we're going to say count failures over what time period? I would say probably maybe 2 hours. Okay. Then it unlocks the account again. Okay. Amount of time a user is locked out, I would say probably an hour to 2 hours. Okay. So that kind of makes sense to have that even. Immediately lock out invalid usernames. Just keep that unchecked, because that could be really, really inconvenient for somebody who might have mistyped their password. And what happens is it locks out their address. So if they actually do know their username and then they go try again, they're locked out for 2 hours. Don't let WordPress reveal valid users login. Yeah, that's good. Prevent users from registering admin username. That's good too. And all this is good. Now, this is important. Immediately block the IP of users who try to sign in as these usernames. Now, this is really important because most accounts will try to do this. They'll try to do administrator, admin, if I can actually spell it right, administrator, admin, and maybe they'll try that, which is the website domain name. This is why when you create your username, you want it a little bit of obscure and not easy for them to use. So obviously you don't want to use the domain name as your username, because hackers will go for that. And then some other variations of those, but those are the key ones that I would use, and those are the ones that they'll try right away. So that's what I would do immediately. So what that will do is we'll be blocking anybody who tries to log in with those right away. Okay, and that just gets them off your website gets them off your website right away. Okay, whitelisting IP addresses. So on this one, you can put in your own IP. So that just kind of stops anything, you from blocking yourself out of your own website for 2 hours. So you could do that if you wanted to, but I don't usually do that too much. I make sure that my password is good. Okay, and you don't have to. You could check hiding WordPress version. That helps people not understand what version of WordPress you're using. And because some vulnerabilities could prop up on WordPress versions, and they'll look for that. They'll actually be scanning. So, okay, block IPs who send post requests with the blank user agent refer. This is just to stop people from submitting forms automatically. But because you have things like a CAPTCHA on your website, you won't have to worry about that. Okay, and bypass light speed. So pretty much everything is the same. Okay, and that we set there. So we're going to go ahead and save that. Excellent. So now our website is secure. The other thing we want to do is set up our firewall. So I'm going to click firewall here. Okay. And what the firewall does is we are going to, let's see, we're going to optimize the WordPress firewall. Okay. And we're just going to use what they recommend here. And what the firewall does is just blocks some attempts. Okay, okay, and we can, it says to download this file. This file is uploaded to the root directory of your website, you know, using the cPanel. So that's the root file there. So this is just a copy of it, okay, and we're gonna go ahead and click continue. So that's just having that file backed up, and now the firewall is started and going. So that's good. And we can click here at live traffic to see live traffic views. We can see who's on our website. So look at this. We have somebody from Russia on our website, and I can pretty much guarantee. Okay, this is a crawler, and so that's their this is their Google basically. So you'll see a lot of that, but sometimes what you'll do is you'll see some other users on here that'll log in, and you can see them live as they happen onto your website. And yeah, so this will block anybody from coming, or you'll be able to see the live traffic, and you'll see who's blocked. Also, if you see something suspicious, you can block it right away, and then that user will be blocked. But you can see their host name. These guys are this is a Google crawler, and they're just, all they're doing is indexing your website on their search engine, so somebody in Russia can find the website. Okay, so I'm just going to go quickly back up here to the dashboard, and we can see we can scroll down. Here's WordFence. So here we can see you'll be able to see the top IP addresses blocked from what country they're in, any failed login attempts. And what you might do is you might see things like the admin name, or somebody's trying to log in using your domain name. You'll be able to see that here. And it's good, just a little piece of information just to see actually how many people are trying to do this. And it's kind of funny. I've had in 1 week like 60 attempts from the same IP to hack into my account. So, and they were trying to use the admin name, and they were just trying to use different passwords. So what they didn't know is I didn't have that account. And so they would have never gotten in, but I don't want that on my website. I don't want these guys doing that. So what I did was I made sure that admin, when somebody tries to use the name admin to log into my site, that it immediately blocks them. So that is security in a nutshell, and I can show you, see if I can dig up an example of WordFence where I had lots of blocks here. All right, so here we go. This is an example from August, and this is attempts on FOSS Academy. So we can see this is before I locked down the usernames that they're trying to access, but you can see like all this stuff from Russia. These people are trying to log in. Like that. And if you look how many times Russian IP addresses were blocked here, and so there we go. This is an example of a lot of attacks that were trying to happen. And of course in here you can see the usernames that they were trying, and as you can see, look at those ones, the ones that I was just explaining to you, that they were trying to use to log in, which don't work. And you can see how many attempts. This will significantly reduce by actually just telling it to immediately block people trying to use admin or the domain name or administrator. So there you go. So that's an example of how important it is to have that on your website. All right, so we're going to see you in the next video. We're going to talk about some updates and updating our website and making sure that that we do that without having any problems.